Thinking about the earlier stages of your career, you're trying to balance a lot of different things. You probably still have some student loan debt on your books. Maybe you're trying to start a family, get your first home, pay for a wedding, etc. So you're trying to do a lot. And sometimes it's a matter of prioritizing, and you'll come ahead pretty quickly because attorneys' salaries typically go up fast. But it's those first couple of years that are going to be a little bit rough and require some sacrificing.
Welcome to our Happy Rainmakers Video Series, where point one can make a difference. Today, I'm lucky to be joined by Niraj Chhabra, who is a certified financial planner with Sidebar Advisors. Welcome, Niraj.
Hi, good to see you again, Jen.
So you are a financial planner, but you specialize in working with lawyers, right?
That's right.
So starting from maybe even the beginning of your career and thinking about how you want to end up and what kind of resources you want to have is probably a good idea.
Absolutely. And, thinking about the earlier stages of your career, you're trying to balance a lot of different things. You probably still have some student loan debt on your books. Maybe you're trying to start a family, get your first home, pay for a wedding, etc. So you're trying to do a lot, and sometimes it's a matter of prioritizing, and you'll come ahead pretty quickly because attorneys' salaries typically go up fast. But it's those first couple of years that are going to be a little bit rough and require some sacrificing. So that's definitely an important factor. And the other thing to keep in mind with your, being a newer attorney, let's call it, your tax situation isn't the same today as it's going to be in the future. So the vehicles that you should be utilizing are not going to be the same today as they will be in the future. So for example, I think a lot of people understand the importance of a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, but it may come at the expense of a tax deduction. So if you contribute to your pre-tax 401k, you get a deduction today. Well, if you're in a high tax bracket, you need it. But if you're just starting your career, you might be in the lowest tax bracket you'll ever be in your entire life. Maybe it makes sense to rip the Band-Aid off, pay the taxes today, and know that this pot of money is going to grow tax-free for the rest of your life. So you really want to make sure that your plan is individualized based on your unique situation, your own tax filing status, income, and a lot of other financial factors.
Would your opinion change if a client came to you and said, I'm working at a really large law firm, trying to pay off my loans, get that high salary, get a big name on my resume, but later on I want to start my own firm or work in a smaller environment where my salary is apt to be lower?
Sure. Yeah, that requires some strategic planning as well. So, if that's their plan, first off, it doesn't always make sense to aggressively pay off your student loans, depending on the interest rate that you're earning. If you have a very low interest rate and you could earn more in a savings or a money market account, you want to pay the minimums as possible, assuming that you're not, there's a lot of variables such as, are you going to qualify for student loan forgiveness? Is your payment going to change with your salary because you have to do the income-based repayment thing? But that all being said, let's assume it does make sense to aggressively pay off your student loans and you're working for an AmLaw 100 firm. We really need to make sure that we're keeping our lifestyle tight, because it's very hard to go from living a big law lifestyle and then pruning back to start your own firm. We need to also make sure that we have a lot of money set aside for those first couple of years when you're running really lean, because you were given casework and now you have to go out there and hustle and bring it in yourself. So we may not have revenue coming in, and we need to make sure that we have a healthy nest egg set aside. Typically they say you want to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses set aside in cash. If you're starting off or you're solo, I typically recommend 1 to 3 years worth of expenses set aside, depending on the practice area. Hypothetically, if you do personal injury and you work on contingency, it could be a while before you get paid starting off a career, So it really is dependent on that, but you want to make sure that the expenses are under control if that's going to be your game plan.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, John.